bottom line about Islam is no one's able to get away from him. Very good standing up now, and he gets a hold of you, you're a f***ville. He has a different kind of wrestling. His submissions are f***ing insane too. He's just got a vice grip, man.
I know.
Because when I would stand next to him in the octagon when he was the 55-pound champion, I'd be like, how?
Yeah.
How do you weigh 55? That doesn't even make any sense. You're 190 pounds right now.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. If I put you on a scale, you weigh 190. If Ian Garry can get off sharp combinations early, he could stun him.
Yeah.
Because Ian can move. He's fast as
fast
and he's super accurate. And the way he throws his strikes is like real clean.
Yeah.
No fat in his move. Pop, pop.
Yeah.
Everything's like, pop, pop. Yeah, he's not like a physically overpowering guy. It's technique. His technique is sharp.
What do you think about Ian Garry? I mean, we spoke about the fight previously already on a program, but obviously his prediction is it's going to go into the last. He doesn't want to finish it early. He wants to kind of dominate and then finish it later in the fight. I spoke to Javier Mendez about that, and he's like, "Nah, dude, like, I would never tell my fighters
about that."
Yeah, he's like, I would never tell my fighters to do that. For me, when I hear that prediction, I think he basically knows he's going to have his work cut out for him at the start of the fight, and he's just kind of predicting because he knows he can't just go out there and destroy Islam in the first round, you know? So he's just trying to make his prediction work with the way that he's planning to win the fight. But what do you think about him trying to make it sound like that this is my prediction and this is how I want it to go later on in the fight?
Yeah, I think that obviously, I mean, that's true. Like from a perspective of like just the truth. I mean, he's not the type of guy that's just going to KO you in the first round. You know what I mean? Like it's just not really what he does.
And I'm telling you right now, this fight for Islam Makhachev may be a lot harder than what people think. Given all of the accolades that Islam Makhachev has, it's easy to just dismiss Ian Garry and say, listen, he's going to just run right through him. Okay, you could send him to Dagestan or Georgia for 20 years and still forget all about it.
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Okay, because Islam Makhachev is the GOAT. He's going to take him down. The man's Irish. They don't wrestle in Ireland for crying out loud. Well, guess what? He's a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He's 17-1. He had a very, very close fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Ended the fight threatening the rear naked choke. He beat the former champion, Bilal Muhammad, that wrestled the life out of Leon Edwards, okay? So this is a real fight. Before you start to think that this is just going to be one-way traffic, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot.
I think Ian Garry has a better chance of getting an early knockout against Makhachev than a late one, because a late one would suggest that he has completely shut down Islam Makhachev from any level of success, and that seems unlikely to me. Whereas like an early one, it's just like, oh, he threw a flying knee and Makhachev ducked into it and he got him. You know, like that could happen. I don't think Ian Garry can't win this fight. I think that he is a very, very good fighter and perhaps underrated by people because he is an off-putting individual. He hasn't finished anyone since Daniel Rodriguez in 2023. Islam Makhachev's the best fighter in the world. Daniel Rodriguez is not. I think, again, not impossible. I think it is unlikely and foolish to think that Ian Machado Garry is going to finish Makhachev. He could win this fight. He could finish him. And I just find that unlikely. But, you know, he's a fighter. He has
Ian Garry, he's a bit of a weird one, right? Like, he's a difficult guy to fight, difficult guy to look good against. He's long, he's rangy, he's pretty strategic in there. How do you feel like he matches up with Islam Makhachev?
He does well with Islam on the stand-up because he's rangy, he's tricky, all those. But on the ground, he doesn't. He does okay, but he doesn't survive on the ground. I don't think. I mean, well, okay, he might survive 5 rounds, but he won't get the best of Islam on the ground. That I'm 100% sure about that. On the stand-up, he's pretty tricky. So one punch can change everything on that. One kick, one punch, one knee. You know, so that's a different story. But on the ground, I don't see him dominating. I see him surviving, possibly. So yeah, I could see that. And then the takedown defense that he has is decent, but not great enough to stop Islam from taking him down. But again, you know, sometimes we'll go in there and we'll decide that we're gonna do this with Islam, and next thing you know, next round we'll say, okay, take him down now, or next thing you know, next round we'll go stand up, because he's all
like cookie cutter versions of each other. They're all lethal. They've all got great wrestling. They've all got that pressure style with good punching and kicking now. You know what I mean? Like there's a really elite level in that gym.
and Makhachev's at the top of that pile. Like, everybody in that gym is working towards where he is, and everybody in that gym's a killer. Like, I just don't know if you're going to be able to find the same kind of look that you're going to need to be able to deal with Makhachev. And I think now he's moved up to welterweight, I just think he looks physically so much healthier and stronger. You know, Ian Garry's a slick striker, but he needs to damage Makhachev. He can't play the 25 minutes of picking and poking, because Makhachev will get to him.
Islam Makhachev is the favorite in his welterweight title defense, but not everyone thinks it will be easy. Many experts believe he will win, but some think Ian Machado Garry has the skills to make it tough. Well-known MMA figures like Michael Bisping and Chael Sonnen have explained why this fight might be closer than fans think. Bedtime MMA talked about was the mental aspect of fight week. He believed that Islam would win the fans over easily, whereas Garry would get booed no matter how he presented himself. This is why he was sure that Garry wouldn't win the press conference just because the fans were already in favor of one fighter. Furthermore, he anticipated that the interaction between these two men would be an interesting spectacle due to their differences in personality. Garry being very vocal and self-promotional, while Islam is quiet and humorous.
It's interesting because, yeah, his persona is almost, he's kind of a natural heel. Like, he plays this kind of like Conor McGregor thing, but a part of me is like, I feel like he trolls a little bit, like with his wife stuff almost. But what do you I know you mentioned you can't wait to see what happens between the two during media week. Who would your prediction be in coming out on top? Because I feel like Islam Makhachev's humor is a little bit underestimated. He's already called this the Timu Conor McGregor Khabib fight, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously the fans are going to be Islam's side. Like, let's be real here. Nobody's like, yo, I hate Islam Makhachev. I want to be Team Garry. I feel like you're either, man, I think Ian Garry could low-key pull this off, or your team Islam Makhachev. But I think in terms of like winning the press conference, or, you know, the talking or whatever, I feel like it really does come down to the crowd perception. I feel like it's really hard to get out from under the crowd booing the fuck out of you, which is going to happen to Ian Garry, especially when he starts talking about how great he is to everybody. It just, like, people just don't like that. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, in terms of like them interacting, I think it's funny too, because like you said, Ian Garry is very like braggadocious and talkative, and Islam is very quiet, but he has like a weird, like, good sense of humor to him. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see them interact. But man, I can't wait to see them fight. It's going to be sick.
While respecting the finishing potential of Garry, Bedtime MMA ultimately came down on the side of Islam based on his finishing prowess as a whole. According to him, Islam is an intimidating fighter from the start of the fight, either due to his grappling or submissions. Although he knew that the fight would be a difficult one between the two fighters for all the 5 rounds, he felt that Islam had more options to finish the bout than Garry had. In conclusion, he predicted that the bout would surely go the distance, but if there was going to be a finisher, then Islam was more likely to finish the bout. He lauded Garry for beating various opponents and also commended him for his tactical approach and willingness to fight anybody. He even noted some aspects of Garry's game to be very similar to that of Georges St. Pierre. He found UFC 330 to be very refreshing since the fight was between the division's number 1 versus its number 2.
Ridiculous to say that. I guess that's what I'll say. It's not ridiculous to say that, but I also feel like, come on, bro, you're not finishing Islam Makhachev. Like, come on, bro. If you win this shit, it's by decision. Like, let's be fucking real. Same with Islam. I mean, I think Islam has more finishing potential overall. Like, early on, he could snap up a DAS. He's really fucking dangerous. Like, I think Islam overall is a more likely to finish this fight. But I feel like if this gets to round 3, 4, and 5, it's probably going to be a decision. Like, I think this will be a very close fight. Both of those camps have said the same thing. So I lean towards a decision. If you're asking me what I think is going to happen, I don't think it's going to be a finish from Ian Garry.
How good do you think is Ian Garry when you look at the rest of the division?
Dude, I mean, shit. Like, it's pretty hard to say he's not the number 1 guy. Like, besides Islam, right? Like, he beat Prates. He had a really good fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, had more finishing type moments in that fight. You know, beat MVP. Like, he's beat all types of weird style matchups as well, which I think is really cool to see. Like, obviously, I don't like the guy. I think he's really fucking annoying. But in terms of his fighting, he's like active and he will fight anybody. And he can beat all types of different styles. Like, he has really good fight IQ. It is reminiscent in some way. Like, it's weird. I feel like they both kind of remind me of GSP in their own different ways. Like, I think the way that Ian Garry will like find your weakness and beat you in that aspect, and doesn't care if it's boring, doesn't care if it's like slow pace, whatever. And Islam Makhachev being like this very dominant grappler and just being very high fight IQ, very defensively sound. yeah, they're both really high level in somewhat different ways, but I think it is number 1 versus number 2 in this fight. And I'm excited about that because I feel like a lot of UFC title fights, bro, you're getting number 1 versus number 7 half the time.
Jed Meshew specifically addressed Garry's prediction that he would break Islam down before finishing him in the later rounds. He noted that Garry has not stopped an opponent since Daniel Rodriguez in 2023, making the prediction even harder to believe against someone as complete as Makhachev. While he admitted that nothing is impossible in mixed martial arts, he felt expecting Garry to wear Islam down and finish him late was unrealistic. To Meshew, Islam's level is simply too high for that kind of performance to be the most likely outcome.
He hasn't finished anyone since Daniel Rodriguez in 2023. Islam Makhachev's the best fighter in the world. Daniel Rodriguez is not. I think, again, not impossible. I think it is unlikely and foolish to think that Ian Machado Garry is going to finish Makhachev. He could win this fight. He could finish him. And I just find that unlikely. But you know, he's a fighter. He has confidence. He's saying what he's going to do here. And I think in a perfect world, he probably would like it to play out like that, where he looks dominant and then finishes him, because that is like the best sort of performance you can have, is to really kick the shit out of somebody and then put them down at the end. I don't think that's remotely what's going to happen in that fight, though.
Although Meshew disagreed with Garry's prediction, he understood why the Irish contender would speak with that level of confidence. Every elite fighter has to believe they can produce the perfect performance, and Garry was simply describing his ideal scenario. Meshew said dominating an opponent before securing a finish is the dream result for any champion or challenger. However, he emphasized that he could not realistically picture the fight unfolding that way against Islam, who has consistently proven himself against the very best competition. Looking beyond the fight itself, Meshew discussed what a victory over Islam could mean for Garry's career. He admitted that defeating the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world would instantly make Garry one of the biggest names in the sport and elevate him to welterweight champion. Even so, he questioned whether Garry possesses the natural charisma needed to become a crossover superstar. Unlike fighters who have built passionate fan bases, Meshew believes Garry has struggled to connect with fans despite his undeniable talent.
It's interesting that you say that Ian's unlikable, because, you know, he's obviously taken kind of this Conor McGregor kind of wish approach going into a lot of his fights, and it kind of rubs people the wrong way. But if he beats it, I mean, it's a big if. It's likely not going to happen. But if he beats Islam Makhachev here, just how huge do you think Ian Garry could actually get, even with people maybe not being his biggest fans, because he can be a little bit annoying sometimes to people?
I don't think he can get that big. Like, he'll be famous if he beats the best fighter in the world and becomes a welterweight champion. He'll be famous, but he has never struck somebody who has that sort of like wow factor. You know, if he holds the belt for 5 years, he will be. Like, that's just sort of how the game goes. I think that would be unlikely for him to pull that off anyway. But like, I have yet to meet the Ian Machado Garry hive other than him, right? Like, he is his biggest supporter, certainly. But like, with other guys like this, there are people online who will tell you that, like, man, you're just a woke libtard, and Josh Hokett's the...
Din Thomas was immediately intrigued when Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry was announced, saying he would not be shocked if another major upset happened. With several pound-for-pound stars recently losing, Thomas felt this could be another year where dominant champions get dethroned. He argued that fans often overlook Garry's abilities because they focus too much on his personality instead of his performances inside the octagon. For Thomas, Garry is far more dangerous than the public gives him credit for.
Versus Ian Machado Garry, fascinating welterweight title fight. Matt, what's your initial impressions? We're sitting here and we're like, of course, Islam Makhachev, 16 fight winning streak, can go for history here. He's number one pound for pound. But what have we just seen in the past few months? We've seen the three of the top pound for pound guys. Alex Pereira lost, Ilia Topuria lost, Hamzat Chimaev lost. If I'm Ian Garry, I'd feel very good about this.
This is one of them years, and it comes around often where we just start seeing guys get knocked off that you didn't expect them to get knocked off. Ian Garry's really good. And sometimes we forget how good he is because we want to not like him because he says things or does things, or when we vilify a fighter, we tend to hang on to that. And we've done that with Ian Garry.
When discussing the matchup itself, Thomas said Garry's size and reach are important advantages that cannot be ignored. He also noted that Islam has built such an extensive body of work that future opponents can study countless hours of footage to identify patterns. Thomas expects Garry and his team to carefully analyze everything previous challengers attempted, eliminate strategies that failed, and develop new ways to attack the champion. He praised Garry's calm mindset and high fight IQ, saying those qualities make him capable of executing a detailed game plan.
Well, one, his length. And another thing that you also have to consider too, when you're dealing with a guy like Islam, who's so good everywhere, but there's also a lot of tape on him. You know, there's a lot of ways to look at what he does and how he's beaten everybody else and how everybody else has failed. And so now you start to look at that and go, well, this doesn't work, so we can eliminate this. We've seen Jack try to do it. We've seen Poirier try to do it. We've seen all these guys try to stay away from him in this way. So now we got to come up with another way, or we got to force him into different spots. And that's what I mean about the IQ of Ian, is that he's a smart enough guy to know these things. And he's really intelligent. He doesn't get flustered by big moments. He doesn't panic in fights. He always fights with his best foot forward. So knowing these things, you got to look at the tape. You have to, and I know a lot of fighters are people, I don't care what he's going to do. I'm going to do what I do. That's what everybody says or suggests. But it's a lot easier to play poker when you have a mirror on the other side and see what they're holding. When you know what they're capable of, it's a lot easier. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do it, but at some point, the percentages of them doing what you've studied and watched them do are pretty high. So I think Ian he's going to do his tape study. He's going to realize what Makhachev.
According to Kenny Florian, Ian Machado Garry has the exact type of boxing style that can create issues for Islam Makhachev, but only if he manages to keep the fight upright. While Garry doesn't possess a knockout power or a combination game, he is the one who utilizes his movement the best in the fight, according to Kenny Florian. Garry moves forward all the time and is constantly striking, which makes it extremely difficult for his opponent to close the gap and get control. Florian also pointed to Garry's physical attributes as another reason this matchup is more competitive than many people think. He noted that Garry's height, reach, and long-range weapons could frustrate Islam throughout the fight. However, Florian also made it clear where the fight could completely swing. If Islam succeeds in getting past that range, closes the distance, and secures the clinch, he expects the champion to take over with his elite wrestling and grappling. Even so, Florian warned fans not to overlook Garry, adding that while he isn't known as a devastating puncher, he absolutely can knock Islam Makhachev out if he lands the right shot. This was what some of the top people in MMA had to say regarding the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry. Though many believe that Makhachev will retain his belt, others feel that Garry is capable of shocking the MMA community by pulling off an upset win. With a combination of Islam's superior wrestling skills and championship experience matched against Garry's physical stature, mobility, and fight IQ, this has become one of the fights of the year. The more it gets towards fight day, the more diverse these opinions are becoming, and this just serves to create more hype about this upcoming title fight. There is no doubt in my mind that these two men definitely have something to prove, and that when the doors to that cage open, there is not going to be any mercy shown by either of them. But what are your thoughts on the matter? Will Islam Makhachev remain unbeaten, or will Ian Machado Garry take the title?